Ibram X Kendi argues that Western exploitation, or what he calls racial capitalism, explains why so many countries in the global South are poor in spite of having rich natural resources. Kendi writes that centuries of Western exploitation makes countries like the Democratic Republic of the Congo one of the richest countries in the world below ground and one of the poorest countries in the world above ground. The problem with Kendi's explanation is that it fails to explain the vast differences in wealth between Europeans and the region we know today as the Democratic Republic of the Congo before the Europeans ever made any significant contact. Darren Acemoglu and James Robinson write that in the 14 and 1500s, the Congo was incredibly poor when the Portuguese and Dutch first arrived, stating that technology was rudimentary by European standards, with the Congolese having neither writing, the wheel, or the plow. If the Congo and other African regions were rich in resources before the arrival of Europeans, Peter Bauer asks, why have the Africans not developed their mineral resources? Why did they have to wait for Europeans to explore, develop, process, and market them? Bauer observes that when we look at material progress over time, we see that it is not unusual for nations with few resources to become wealthy, and nations with abundant resources to remain in poverty. Indigenous peoples in North America had vast resources but little material wealth, and yet nations like Japan, Germany, or Britain had few natural resources but eventually developed much wealth. Natural resources are useless if you don't have the means to use them. Thomas Sowell writes that the natural resources we use today were even more abundant in the era of the caveman, but the people of that prehistoric era were culturally not yet able to use most of those resources. There are certainly many factors that contribute to the relative wealth and poverty of nations, but Bauer argues that some important factors for material progress include personal qualities, social institutions and mores, and political arrangements which make for endeavor and achievement.